Yo, what's good, everybody? Welcome back to the Deron Harris podcast. I'm your host, Deron Harris. What's cracking? What's happening? What's going on, folks? Hopefully you had a good week. My week was so-so. It was all right. I'm here, so I guess it was a good week after all. Today on the Deron Harris podcast, episode number 32, we're going to be talking about some things that are in the news today. Not today particularly, just in general. We're going to be talking about what's called negrophobia and anti-Semitism. So I want to kind of go over some of those. I've been doing a little bit of research and kind of finding out a little bit more about it. I want to be, a little bit more conscious about what's happening, as far as, what's going on with, Kyrie Irving and now Dave Chappelle and, all the anti-Semitism talk. I want to know what constitutes that. I'm sure everybody, wants to know. I mean, some people do and some people don't, but I want to go over it at least so, I'm clear for myself. You know what I'm saying? So that's what we're going to be talking about today. But first, I want to get into the mental health check this week. What's going on, folks? How was your mental health? How was it? Was it good? Was it bad? Did you notice? Did you not? My mental health this week was kind of so-so. I had a few not so good days this week, but I was able to kind of push through and kind of get over a lot of it. And at the same time, kind of dive into it and pull out some things that were bothering me. So, and really kind of address them the way they should be. But I had to make some alone time in order to do that because I'm busy a lot. I'm busy a lot. I'm running around with my wife. I got 3 rambunctious ass dogs. I help my mother, as much as I can. And on top of, other things that I aspire to do, for myself. So I don't have a lot of time, so to speak, even though I have a lot of time. So I actually had to make some time for me to actually sit down and, I guess, be alone. Get into Deron. See what's happening, here inside me for a few minutes and kind of take myself away from the world for a couple of minutes, because like I said, there's so many things that are going on that, it's just a sign of the times. Things are happening in the world that, just seem beyond most of our control. It just seems like, so many people in that upper echelon control, everything. We are powerless to say or do anything about it, but that's not really true. So I just wanted to let you guys know that if you had an issue or you were having some issues where I guess, you weren't having such a good week or you were having a couple of consecutive bad days or whatever, that it's probably a good idea to separate yourself a little bit and reflect. I know it sounds corny. I know a lot of people are like, you said this before, but it really does help. It really does help. It helps me a lot, to just kind of be into myself, take time for myself, give myself self-care, tell myself that, I'm good. You good, D, you good. You handling your business, you trying to do whatever you can, you're good. You know what I'm saying? You got a lot to be, to look forward to. You got a lot to be proud of. It's good to sit by yourself sometimes and tell yourself that, because a lot of us, especially when we're going through something that's difficult, we have a tendency to lean into ourselves in a negative type way. We put ourselves down. We do whatever we can to make ourselves feel like we are less than. And sometimes, or a lot of times, or any time really, is a good time to turn that around and try and, reverse that way of thinking. So the mental health portion of my week got a little bit better as the week went on, so don't have a lot to complain there as far as that is concerned. So, yeah. I want to give a shout out to Kyrie Irving for standing his ground, and I'm gonna say, shout out to Kyrie for just being a trying to be an adult about it. They really doing a number to him in the NBA, which I just think is garbage the way they did that guy, because he didn't say anything anti-Semitic. He didn't say anything at all. He just posted something, and he didn't say anything at all. And they are, they're raking him over the coals. What they are doing is they are making an example out of Kyrie Irving, and I think that's bullshit. So, shout out to Kyrie, my man. Stay strong, homie. Dope Shit Award this week goes to Dave Chappelle, though. And also shout out to Dave, man, for doing his thing, man. But the Dope Shit Award goes to Dave Chappelle because of his masterful, as it's being called, genius performance on Saturday Night Live. It was dope, man. I didn't see Saturday Night Live, but I watched it on a Instagram page that I follow, and saw the whole thing in its entirety. It was 15 minutes, but it was 15 minutes of the most poignant monologue that I've heard in quite some time. Whoever is going to do the next monologue, that's probably, in my opinion, probably the best monologue that has ever been done on that show. And it was real. It touched a lot of issues that we're going through today. Part of what I'll be talking about here in a little bit. It was entertaining. It was extremely funny. It was sincere. But I guess now he is getting some flack and over the monologue where I guess some Jewish people found it to be anti-Semitic to them. And I'm like, really? Because I think actually it was very respectful. It was a very respectful monologue. He told the truth or what he felt. And that's what you should do. That's what everybody should be able to do. You know what I'm saying? And he pulled the wool off a lot of things. People they got their feelings hurt. A lot of people got their feelings hurt. But he didn't say nothing that ain't true. It's just people don't like being guilty of the shit they guilty of. You know what I'm saying? They just don't. They don't like being held accountable for the shit that they're accountable for. They don't like having the mirror turned around, so to speak. And last night, Dave Chappelle not only turned the mirror around on them, but he also turned the mirror around on us as well. And it wasn't last night, but he told us about ourselves, and we needed to hear it. Everybody does need to hear it. Everybody needs to hear it. And if you don't agree with it, you don't agree with it. But it needs to be said. It needs to be heard. So the Dope Shit Award this week goes to Dave Chappelle for standing up and doing his thing on Saturday Night Live. Best monologue I've ever heard on the show. And I would like to see other comedians. I'm a comedian myself, but I would also like to see other comedians take this up. I'd like to see other comedians stand up in this. I'd like to see other comedians write how they feel about it. Even if you're Jewish, even if you're Indian or Asian. Anybody, write how you feel, man. Write how you feel. Say how you feel, man. And I really don't know how to get this out, but say how you feel, but be respectful. You know what I'm saying? If you don't like somebody, you don't like somebody. But like somebody for like a real reason. Don't like them over some bullshit like skin color. Don't not like them for that shit. That shit is stupid. what I'm saying? And that's unfortunately where a lot of our world is headed these days, is right on down the skin color lane. So shout out to Dave Chappelle. Dope Shit Award goes to Dave Chappelle. And also this week's earbud goes to Dave Chappelle also, because after I watched his monologue, I started looking at some of his old tapes, listening to some of his old material. You know, I YouTube some stuff, and then I jumped on Netflix and listened to, and he says what he thinks all the time. All the time. He says exactly what he means, and it's true. It's just that people don't like being guilty of the shit they're guilty of. The LGBTQ community tried to come after him for something he said about some lesbians or something, and they got, for lack of a better, expression, they got their panties in a bunch because he told it like it was. I mean, it's true. It's just people don't like to hear truth, So shout out to Dave Chappelle for being truthful, man, and staying up on it. You know what I'm saying? We're moving right along to the strain of the week, folks. Strain of the week. I'm not even sure if this has been the strain of the week before, but I got it at excuse me, I got it at True Leaf. And yeah, man, totally dope. Pineapple upside down cake, totally dope. It is a 80-20 sativa dominant hybrid. The batch I guess that I got was 29.6 THC, and it's a sativa that acts like an indica, if you know what I mean. It gives you it still gives you everything that a sativa will give you, but it gives you the body high that an indica would give you. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't really put you in the couch, so to speak. It gives you, I mean, you're like happy and euphoric and you want to get stuff, you want to go and do things with your friends and you want to, you want to do stuff, it helps you with mood swings. I have crazy mood swings because of a lot of things. I mean, it helped me it helps with depression, anxiety. It helped me with, the pain in my back, the arthritis pain I have in my shoulder and my back from back when I was breakdancing. It helped with a lot of that. I think it was, in that respect, I think it was one of the better strains for that because, especially my arthritis, because, really, I was able to, I was able to kind of maneuver around. I'm having some issues with my back, some kind of, pretty serious issues with my back. So I just scheduled a doctor's appointment for sometime next week. To look at it because I don't know what's wrong with it. It's hard to move, but I will say that, it did take the edge off the pain. Like, it doesn't stop the pain 100%, but it kind of dulls it or numbs it a little bit, makes it more manageable. So it was able to definitely, help me with my back. So it has a fruity / nutty / citrusy, like soury kind of. It tastes like cake. It smells and kind of tastes like cake. So if you're close to a True Leaf and they have it, ask for it. It is called Pineapple Upside Down Cake. There are a few other places I'm sure that carry it. So if you're able to, go and check it out. The strain of the week this week is Pineapple Upside Down Cake. I'm going to take a minute to get myself a drink because I'm a little parched if you can't hear it in my voice. And when I come back, we're going to get into what's popping this week. Negrophobia and anti-Semitism in America. So you're listening to the Deron Harris podcast.
What if national news was actually covered by the whole nation? The NPR network is over 200 independent newsrooms strong, stretching across all 50 states and Washington, D.C. It unites 300 million Americans in one big community built on one even bigger idea. What you hear changes everything.
Hey folks, what's up? Welcome back to the podcast. I hope that everybody's still with me. Yeah, I this week we'll be talking about some hard shit. We're going to be talking about negrophobia because it is a very real thing. Now, check it out. Negrophobia. As per Wikipedia, negrophobia, also termed anti-blackness, is characterized by a fear or hatred or extreme aversion to black people and black culture worldwide, caused, among other factors, by racism and traumatic events and circumstances. Symptoms of this phobia include, but are not limited to, attribution of negative characteristics to black people, the fear or the strong disliking of black men, and the objectification of black women. And that's what it is, okay? That's what negrophobia means. Now, a lot of societies have this phobia. A lot of people have this phobia. And it like it's fueled by racism. It really is. It's fueled by ignorance, lack of education, and just straight up lack of knowledge about another group of people. I mean, and the thing about racism and the thing about racists are this: they're okay with being racist. They're okay with being racist. And that shit ain't okay. I mean, it really is not okay. We kind of make it okay because we have no choice because people are who they are. And like I said earlier in other segments, people are going to say what they say, but you know, people are racist. The problem is a lot of people try to hide their racism behind other things. But now it's getting to the point where racism is starting to rear its ugly head and become more prominent in our society. It is more open. People are more vocal about it on all fronts, and people are standing up in it. They're standing up in their racism. And God help us. You know, I think that it's absolutely stupid for someone to experience negrophobia because they are ignorant to black people and black culture. You know, I think it's detestable that people could actually sit up and still have this ideology and get up and go to work and, you know, work with somebody. Because, you know, let's face it, we all work everywhere. We all work together. But even in the workplace, there is a great amount of racism in the workplace. You know, I mean, huge. I've experienced racism in the workplace. A whole lot. You know, so it definitely is out there. Now that you know what negrophobia is, let me tell you a little bit about anti-Semitism. Anti-Semitism, also spelled anti-Semitism, is hostility to or prejudice towards or discriminating against Jews. A person who holds such position is called an anti-Semite. Anti-Semitism is considered to be a form of racism, and that also is on Wikipedia. That's what Wikipedia says about what anti-Semitism is. Now, I listened to Dave Chappelle the other night, and man, I don't see it. You know, he's getting some slack. I mean, like a little flack over, you know, some straight up flack for his monologue. People are calling him an anti-Semite. You know, I think that shit is preposterous. Especially after, in the beginning, I mean, did you listen to it? I mean, because if you did, then you would know that there were no anti-Semitic gestures or any of that made whatsoever. None. Not one. It was very tasteful. It was very masterful. It was real. It was true. But it was not in poor taste. It was just him telling it like it was, which That's what comics have always been looked to for, is to tell it like it is without any adulteration or any censorship or anything like that. But now, people are trying to put censorship on what people are able to say, and especially what people are able to say about them. But meanwhile, people have said what they have wanted to say about us for centuries, just like the Jews. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. Jewish people, man, they have gone through a lot, like a lot. And all the way, it's like the stuff that they have been to dates all the way back to the year 1096. Yeah. It's crazy. 1096 that Jewish people have been going through the things that they've been going through. But we have too. We've gone through, very similar history. And it's so crazy how we can share, something so close, but be so opposed to each other or so against each other. Both persecuted people, heavily persecuted people. You would figure we would be like allies or some shit like that, but instead, no. We hate each other, talk shit about each other all the time. We just talk shit. There's so many fucking racial slurs about black people and Jewish people. So many. And it's crazy. Like, listen, there is a website, and the website, if you're not familiar with it, is called the rsdb.org. And what that stands for is the Racial Slur Database.org. And I took the liberty of not only looking up Jewish people or black people, but everybody that I could see. Native Americans, white people, everybody, anybody, and what their racial slur and the origin of the racial slur and where it comes from. There's a lot of things that we say on a daily basis that we don't know the origin of. That, if you knew the real origin of it, you'd second guess on saying it. This racial slur website. Listen, I'm looking at racial slurs. Now check this out. A racial slur for black people, okay? And this is in suburban Los Angeles, is a police code. We're called a 925. Black people are called 925, which is police code in suburban LA for suspicious person. So we're actually called 925. I think it's crazy. Women are called Aunt Jemima. We're called all kinds of things. Bumba, bamboo, banjo lips, boogaloo, all kinds of shit. There was one I saw, biscuit lips was one, black Barbie, black magic, black time, Blackie Chan was another one that I saw. The list goes on and on and on to the break of dawn, y'all. It just goes on. It just goes on. And I'm looking at it, right? And don't get me wrong now, there are some racial slurs that I've looked also as far as the Jews are concerned. One of them I thought was kind of funny was Bible shortener. But it's funny. It doesn't mean that I agree with that, but it is funny. But other things, big nose, kikes, Christ killer, Circle K, all kinds of, Dead Sea pedestrians, all kinds of heeb, kike, tightwad, cheap ass motherfuckers, all kinds of shit that people are calling, Jewish people. They call them, Jaimes in New York. Most noteworthy used by the Reverend Jesse Jackson, called part of New York, Jaime Town. That was Eddie Murphy actually did a sketch on Jaime Town where he played Reverend Jesse Jackson, and he sang Town on Saturday Night Live. It was hilarious. Now, am I condoning, all the racials? No, not at all. I'm not. But was it funny? Fuck yeah, the shit was hilarious. I'm going to laugh at it. You know what I'm saying? Something like that happened to me one time. There was, I had just moved someplace. I was working at a place. I was a tenant bar. I was new. And there was a DJ that was, trash talking another DJ. And both the DJs worked at the club. I'm just standing out there waiting on my ride. But this DJ is drunk and he's trash talking this other DJ. And I happened to be laughing. Some other DJs passed by and saw me laughing, went and told my boss. And I got took off the schedule. When I asked why, they were like, oh, well, you laughed at, and you should apologize to. I said, I'm not apologizing to nobody, for one, because I laughed at something that was funny. But did I condone it? Did I start it? No. I just laughed. That was it. That's kind of like what Kyrie did. You know what I'm saying? Because he didn't say nothing. And he still got shit on. You know what I'm saying? So, that eventually what happened is I wrote a letter to the two DJs that were well, not the one that was saying shit, but the two DJs that got, because one of them was the people who got offended was one of them was a radio DJ and one of them was a club DJ, and they got offended, and my boss was like, oh, you have to write them an apology to get back on the schedule, and I was like, fuck that, but I did end up writing them a letter anyway, and I told them, I said, listen, I could care less about your little piddly DJ beef. I don't give a fuck about that kind of shit. You know what I'm saying? I got other shit to worry about other than your, Naples, Florida, piddly ass DJ beef. I'm from Brooklyn, New York. We don't give a fuck about that kind of shit. You know what I'm saying? So, I could care less about it. And he wrote me back on some like, oh, I didn't mean it like that. So and so. I said, well, just so you know, because of that, I lost, they took my shifts away. So now I'm out looking for another job because I laughed at a joke that was funny, that was actually true. And y'all got your ass hurt because somebody laughed at it. You know what I'm saying? You basically got your ass booty hurt. So that's also what's happening to Chappelle, because he said what he said on SNL, and a lot of people got their ass booty hurt looking for all kinds of anti-Semitic connotations. And there ain't none, man. Stop it. You out there making shit up, trying to make this dude guilty of some shit that he is not guilty of. You know what I'm saying? This brother is out telling the truth. He's just telling the truth. But, well, maybe the truth with a TH, not the truth with an F. Motherfucking truth with an F. He telling the truth. When anybody tells the truth about us, it's well accepted. Oh, whatever. Whatever people say about us is always swept under the rug or put to the side or not as important as of an issue as it's made out to be. Or, oh, you guys are just over exaggerating. But we could say the slightest, the smallest things about, and we get raked over the coals, persecuted, like we always get, like we always have been. People are always looking for something to pin around our necks. Always looking for a reason to cancel somebody or try to cancel. But one thing I'm going to tell you what. Where Kanye failed, Dave Chappelle is going to succeed, because I really don't think Dave Chappelle is cancel proof, because he don't care. He don't care. He don't care. He says what the fuck he wants to say. And if somebody wants to say something about it, he'll say some shit to you too, because that's his personality. That's who that dude is. He's a very intelligent man who thinks very deeply about a lot of issues that plague our country. Not the good ones, but the bad ones. He makes us look at them in a light where we're just like, damn, that shit is crazy. How ironic and how funny that we even behave like that. You know what I'm saying? He has a way of making, and I'll tell you what, I'm sure Saturday Night Live is filmed in New York City. New York City has a large Jewish population. So I'm going to say it's safe to assume that there are probably a couple Jewish people in the audience at Saturday Night Live, if not already employed at NBC Studios, where I used to work at NBC Studios. I was on the Conan O'Brien show for 4 years. And I'm sure there are a few people in there. a few Jewish people. And as he's delivering his monologue, the one thing I noticed, and I noticed because I'm a comedian, and I noticed the types of laughs that people get. And you watch Saturday Night Live, and you got some good monologists that come on, and they deliver a good monologue, and it's funny, but their laughs are, they're regular laughs. The laughs that he got, that Dave Chappelle got for Saturday Night were real. They had substance. They laughed. We were laughing at ourselves, at the stupidity of ourselves. We were laughing at ourselves, and they were real laughs. Everybody was laughing. Everyone. Everybody. But they were sitting there waiting for him to say something, say this, just say the word Jewish. That's what they was waiting on, him to say the word Jew. That's what they was waiting on. Oh, yeah, Jew, what you got to say about Jews, huh? That's what they were waiting on. It's kind of like, when somebody that ain't black says nigga, they wait for the reaction, what's going to happen. We analyze that. We scrutinize that. We pick that apart. And that's what they did with his monologue. They just picked it apart, and they reached out and tried to grab limbs that weren't there and tried to make it as anti-Semitic as they possibly could. And it just doesn't stick. It just don't stick. It just don't stick. It doesn't stick. You know what I'm saying? It just don't. There's so many things that we say. There's so many things that people say that offend other people that we don't really even know that offended these people. Like I said before, early in the podcast, we say things, there are sayings that we say that we really don't know the origin of. And certain things, if we knew, we wouldn't say that. You know what I'm saying? Like, let me see. Have you ever heard the phrase grandfathered in? Right? An old law, here's the definition. It's an old law that continues to apply to certain situations instead of the new law. Why should you stop using it? This is another website that I found. It's called RWJ Barnbass Health. RWJBH.org. This is where I'm getting this from. And instead of grandfathered in, this is what you should say. This is why you should stop saying it. The original grandfather clause was used in the American South to deny black people the right to vote, stating that only people who could vote before 1866 and their descendants were exempt from educational, property, or tax requirements for voting. The word picnic, an outing, or an occasion that involves taking a packed meal to be eaten outdoors. Why you should stop using it is because picnics come from this. Back in the days, they used to lynch black people. We all know that. But they used to pack lunches and come sit down, and it was a spectacle. And people came and gathered around, and they ate food. And what they were going to pick a nigger. Picnic. And that's where that name was born. You know what I'm saying? There's so many of those words about everybody. You know what I'm saying? About everyone. There's everyone. Here's one here. Jew him down, to get him to lower the price. Why should you stop using it? Anti-Semitism, unfortunately, certainly hasn't disappeared since the horrific events of the Second World War. The phrase "Jew him or her down" is still used to refer to bargaining with someone for a lower price. It comes from a very old, offensive stereotype of Jewish people as shrewd moneylenders who always haggled over the cost of something. There's a lot. All kinds of people. There's all kinds of fuzzy wuzzy refers to curly hair texture. Black people. Sounds cute and cuddly like a teddy bear in the nursery rhyme, right? Nope. British colonial soldiers in the 1800s used this racist expression to refer mockingly to East African nomads who had curly hair and dark skin. Mumbo jumbo. We say that a lot. Oh, this motherfucking mumbo jumbo. This expression derives from the name of Mamba Jumbo. I hope I'm saying that right. A character often portrayed by a male dancer in West African Mandinka cultural ceremonies. British explorers in the 1730s got his name wrong and found him very terrifying and grotesque, and the rituals meaningless. Hence, the derogatory use of the name indicates something is unintelligible nonsense. Mumbo jumbo. Crazy. Like I said, if you guys want to look it up, it's fucking dumb. You should look it up. It's rwjbh.org. And it's chocked full of stuff from every culture, from every culture, from every culture. And I'll tell you, it's not just the blacks. But I will say this. I will say this. Out of all the racial slurs, there are more racial slurs and connotations for black people than any other race. You know who's second? Jews. You know who's third? Or close to it? The Chinese. So many racial slurs thrown at all three of these people. So crazy. We have all been put down because of our race, but yet we still criticize each other because of our race. Shit is, it's just absolute wild business to me. It's crazy, man. It really is crazy to me, man, how our country is just so sensitive, but at the same time, we're just such assholes to each other. You know what I'm saying? And one thing else, another thing I noticed is there aren't always racial slurs from every country for a particular group of people. Like in certain countries, there is no racial slur for white people. In certain countries, there is no racial slur for Indian people. In their language or their dialect, they just didn't make one. They just didn't come up with one. But just about every, more than I can count, during the course of this podcast, countries have a word that is derogatorily describing black people. We are the most hated people on the planet. And let me do you one further. The black man is the most hated figure on the face of the earth. That is no bullshit. That is a fucked up thing to realize. That I'm a black man. I am in the category of the most hated people on the earth. And a lot of times people don't even know why they hate us. But you really do. We kind of do. But it ain't our fault. You know what I'm saying? It's not our fault. But I know why motherfuckers hate us. I know why. I don't necessarily want to say it, I'm not going to say it, but, if you feel me, then you feel me. I know why. You know what I'm saying? Swag is different, all kind of shit. You know what I'm saying? And it's crazy. The craziest shit is this. This is the craziest shit in the world. How everybody's so derogatory towards us, but they strip us of our culture. They strip us of everything that we have caused and made ours. You know what I'm saying? We started hip hop. Now hip hop is so mainstream that, it's being taken away from us. It's being made into something that it was never meant to be. You know what I'm saying? A black woman can put box braids in her hair and she ratchet, but a white chick do it and it's, oh my God, she's so brave, she's so cutting edge and all of that. That happens. That's still happening. You know what I'm saying? That happens to us. That doesn't really necessarily happen to a lot of Jewish people. But that shit happens to us every day. But on the other side of that coin, there's a lot of shit that happens to Jewish people that don't happen to us. You know what I'm saying? Now I have some, one of my dearest friends in the world is a Jewish guy. His name is Dave Young, and I've been friends with that motherfucker for 26 years, 27 years, something like that. And I'll tell you what, there's not a racist bone in that man's body. That man is my brother. And we don't even, we look so far beyond the fact of our race. We looked so far beyond that. It was, and I'll tell you what, it was never really even looked at as that. We just became free. He was my boss. I was a bartender at a place in Manhattan, and he was the manager. We just became friends. I was the daytime bartender. He was the day manager. And we get off work. We go have a beer, sit down, talk, and became friends. You know what I'm saying? During Christmas, he tells me Merry Christmas. During Hanukkah, I tell him Happy Hanukkah. You know what I'm saying? We respect each other. We learn about each other. We tell each other about each other. You know what I'm saying? And to me, that is, one of the most beautiful exchanges is the sharing of information between two cultures, coming together peacefully to grow, to actually have actual growth and understanding between the two. And that is the only way that this is ever going to solve itself. But I fear that it's too far gone. People are too set in their ways. And don't look now, Captain Racist himself is running for president in 2024, announced his bid for presidency. I almost want DeSantis to run, but I really don't like him much, But he's, like people say, the lesser of two evils. But, hey, that's another podcast. But something is wrong with us. Something is wrong with the United States of America, and we hate to admit it, but something is gravely wrong with the United States of America. Something is, it's off. It feels evil. It feels unclean. It feels so fucking wrong. We are the only, we are like the mass shooting capital of the world. The world. The whole world. We have more mass shootings than everybody. Some people don't have any. There are countries that have like one murder a year. We have one murder every 6 seconds. Wild business. A lot of stuff is racially charged, racially motivated. And it just really shouldn't be like that. It really shouldn't be, listen. Jews should not be hated. Black people should not be hated. Indians should not be hated. Asians should not be hated. White people shouldn't be hated. Especially not for the color of their skin. Now, if you want to hate me because I fucked your wife or whatever, okay. But not because I'm a black dude. That's just going to work. I watch so many videos of people that are just nasty to black people. Just nasty to black people. And I'm sorry to say, don't nobody get talked about like we do. Don't nobody get put down like we do. Everybody's got their own, like black folks, right? We don't have a racial slur for Jewish people. We don't. But Jewish people have a racial slur for us. Yeah, they do. That's wild business, right? But if you bring it up, oh, no. Be fair. That's all I'm saying is be fair. If you're going to talk shit about us, then expect to have some shit talked about you. Because one thing about black folks, that's who we are. We are an eye for an eye kind of people. If you say something about us, best believe it's going to be 1,000 motherfuckers waiting to say some shit to you. Or say some shit about you. to you, because that's how we are. You know what I'm saying? We're not afraid to tell you what's on our minds anymore. We lost that. We shed that a long time ago. Black folks picked up their voice and started screaming a long time ago. We tired of it. That's why we got a long ass way to go, but that's why we are where we are now. Because I tell you what, things could have been way different. Way, way different. And I'm so glad that things are the way that they are now, even though they're shitty compared to the way that they could have been. But I always hope that one day that, it'll probably be millions and millions of years in the future if the planet's even still here. Because like I said last podcast, based on all the fuckery that's going on the planet, it wouldn't surprise me if there is a meteorite rocketing towards this motherfucker ready to take us all out. I wouldn't be surprised. So, I don't want people to suffer. I don't want people to hurt. I don't want people to just to be shitty to each other, man. It don't get nowhere. What kind of energy does it take to be that way? I mean, that's one thing it must take a lot of energy to be a fucking racist. I don't know if I told you guys about this, but there's a restaurant next door to my mother's building. I went to get breakfast one day I went to get dinner one day and just went in there to get a to-go menu. And I walked in and I stood there for a few minutes and waiter passed me by. Lady behind the counter kind of ignored me. Another waitress passed me by, didn't say nothing. So I stopped the waiter really fast. I said, "Hey, man, can I get a to-go menu?" "You can't take our menu with you." I said, "I'm not trying to take your menu. I'm looking for a to-go menu. Do you have one of those?" "We don't have that." I said, "All right, bro, I see where this is at." And it's just terrible. But I've had black people tell me, "Oh, just the food is good. Just go in there and suck it up and go in there to food." Listen, I'll make my own grits and eggs. How about that? I'll make my own biscuits before I let people treat me like shit because of my race without even talking to me. Before you even open your mouth, looking at my person and trying to decipher who I am. You have no fucking clue. So, sorry about that, folks. I'm still getting over some sickness from last week. But yeah, I'm not gonna pull no punches with nobody. I'm not gonna pull no punches with nobody. I'm gonna let you know. I'm gonna tell you how I feel every single time. So if you can't deal with it, tough. There's gonna be some gnashing of teeth. But I've said this before. Sometimes the truth hurts the worst. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I think is happening in the Jewish community is people are telling the truth. They're starting to find truths about themselves or seeking out truths about themselves. And I believe Jewish people are feeling threatened by that. I don't know why, but they are. Maybe that's some of that negrophobia. Or anti-blackness. Maybe. Because I just got a hard time believing that everybody else gets the same treatment that we do. Because I've had white people talk about Jewish people and nobody say anything about it. Just regular plain white people, but like somebody Christian or something. And nobody say shit about it. But the minute, they analyze and scrutinize and comb over everything we say. It is under the solid ass microscope these days. We can't say anything without somebody wanting to put us in our place. And that is really what it is. People trying to put us in our place. And my question, what place is that? You know what I'm saying? What place you trying, because where y'all trying, I don't even count that as a place. I don't even count that shit as a place. Because I'll go anywhere the fuck I want to. I'll say whatever I want to. I'll live in any neighborhood I choose to. Damn right. And I'm going to do it because I want to. I'm not going to do it like some puppet ass or something. I'm going to do it because I want to. I'm going to feel good about it. And if anybody makes their way over to my property on some Ku Klux Klan or some derogatory shit, then be prepared to, to figure it out. I mean, to figure out how you're going to get your ass out of ICU because, it's going to come hard for you. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not going to stand there on my property and have somebody disrespect me, my wife, or my kids, or anybody in my family, or any of my friends, regardless of their race, their ethnicity, their sexual orientation. I don't care. You come for my friends, I'm coming for you. How about that? You know what I'm saying? If you on that hatred bullshit, I don't care what kind of hatred it is. I don't give a fuck what kind of hatred it is. If it's hatred towards Jewish people, I'm coming at you. If it's hatred towards black people, I'm coming at you. You know what I'm saying? If it's hatred towards any of that shit, hatred towards gay people, I'm coming at you. Because who the fuck are you? Really? And I'm talking to everybody out there or anybody out there who's listening and feels like they are better than other people because of you're a particular race and they're a particular race. Because nobody's better. If I knock your ass out, your ass is still knocked the fuck out, whether you black, white, green, blue, or yellow. You got knocked the fuck out. You know what I'm saying? So racial slurs, I mean, we have a long time ago, and I'll tell you what, Jewish people, black people, we still, it's still a little soft spot about, people calling us niggas and shit. But we've been called niggas for so long that there's a callous that's starting to be built over that. As if to say, is that the best y'all could do? You fucking nigger. Oh, man, that's it. That's all you got. That's it. Because you're going to have to come up with some other shit because I'm busy now. And a lot of brothers and sisters is like, I'm busy running, my Fortune 500 company. I'm busy, going out here, getting my education on. I'm out here, like helping my community. Unfortunately, in the black community, we do have a lot of negativity in our community, but I'll tell you what, this is fucked up. This is fucked up right here. Black people, a lot of rappers to get deals, they can't rap about positive shit. They got to rap about killing each other, disrespecting each other, sleeping with somebody else's woman or taking their woman while behind their back, shooting and so much disrespect. It's like that's the only thing that we could really do to get a deal as a rapper. Really. No other genre of music has to do that. You know what I'm saying? Not white people, not Indian people, nobody. Not Jewish people, nobody. You know what I'm saying? That's what we have to do in order to get a deal. And and the crazy part about it is, and I'm just calling it how I see it, a lot of the executives in a lot of these companies are Jewish. Or white Jewish men. It's just the facts. Not everybody. I'm not saying it's everybody, but it's a lot of them. There's a lot of people there. It's a lot of them. You know what I'm saying? And they control a lot of things. People, they don't control. Yeah. I'm just going to call it what it is. You know what I'm saying? I'm just going to call it what it is. So, I don't agree with anti-Semitism. I don't. If you feel that I've said some anti-Semitic things, I apologize, but that's how I feel about it. I feel like, we, black people, we get called whatever the fuck, and it just, like I said, gets swept under the rug. But the minute anybody says anything about any other race, it's got to be this whole big shebangity bang. There's all kind of things for Jewish people in our country. They got the Holocaust Center. There's the Jewish Center, the synagogues, of course. But there's a lot of things in their communities, dedicated. We don't have any of that. We don't have, the slavery museum. Instead, what we have is, the abolishment of critical race theory. They don't want to teach what happened. They don't want to teach us our history. And that's crazy shit. But on the other side of that, the Jewish people, they support that. They get together. They pay for it themselves in order to do that. In order to have the Jewish Center, they pay for it. They pay for it themselves. We don't pay for shit like that. But a lot of them, they do. I'm just calling it what it is. They get their money from, the sales of goods and services to everyone. You know what I'm saying? Just the way it is, especially in New York. So I think I'm going to get down off this horse now for the day. Yeah. Maybe one day, hopefully one day soon, I'm going to try to call my friend Dave and maybe sit here and have a conversation with him and kind of pick his brain about what he thinks about, the whole everything that's going on, because I know he's got an opinion. So maybe I can get him on a Zoom call or something and get him on the podcast so that we can have another perspective. You know what I'm saying? So, but I'm going to take a couple seconds, and when I come back, RV life with the wife, relationship goals. You're listening to the Deron Harris podcast.
This report is sponsored by Family Dollar.
Partly sunny by the beaches today with temperatures in the 60s to low 70s. Redondo Beach has a high of 70.
At Family Dollar, you'll find even more ways to save, like our digital smart coupons, including the Saturday Savings Pass. Explore our app and find additional discounts to stack savings on top of savings. Family Dollar, helping you do more.
Hey folks, what's up? Welcome back to the podcast. Yep, welcome back. So, it's winter time, and we live in an RV, and it's not really built like a real house. The walls are really not very thick, so it's starting to get a little cooler outside, so inside is starting to get a little cooler, but we do have a heater. But, it runs off propane, so that's pulling a little bit more propane, so we got to factor that into the budget. But, yeah, it's cold. We woke up this morning frozen. And we're in North Florida, and it was I think it went down to like 40-something. I think it's supposed to go down to 30-something tonight, but we'll be ready. We got a bunch of blankets. Worst case scenario, my mother lives down the street. We'll just go to her house. But we're toughing it out. We are. We want to get through it. We're trying to get through our first year as full-time RVers. We've already gotten through the first few months. We've had some things happen, that we've fixed, and some things that happen that we have to get fixed, and we've had some good things happen, and we've taken a trip or two so far, and we're planning other trips. So, we're still gung-ho about it. Wintertime is not deterring us from it. And I'll tell you what, it is really good for our relationship because when it's cold outside, my wife, she always cold anyway. So, and I run a little hot blooded. So, every now and then it gets to the point where she gets a little cold and, she like to wrap up with me in a blanket and a good movie. You know what I'm saying? So, wintertime is actually cool. And also, I do like wintertime, because I like the brisk air. I like sitting out. I like the smell of fire and things like that. So, tonight I'm gonna build a fire. We're gonna sit out in front of the RV with a glass of wine and enjoy a fire, and have some conversation. She back there in the back of the compound. She working right now, but she should be done here shortly. And we will get a bite to eat and take it back to the house and get ready for the evening ahead. Hopefully it'll be, it won't be so cold, or maybe it might be cold. She, get a little closer. Cause that's what I'll be looking for, and I will say this, we got married March 19th, of this year, 2022. And we've been together a little bit over 3 years now, just together. And every day is better. Every day with my wife is better. And I'm very thankful for that. And that helps me a lot with what's going on in my head. She is a good listener, and she conversates well, and she gives great advice. And more importantly than that, than any of these other chicks that I've dated, and I'm not shitting on anybody, I'm not really not trying to shit. My wife is really genuinely concerned about my health, like super concerned about my health, and that's the most sexy shit in the world. You know what I'm saying? Somebody that's genuinely concerned about your actual well-being. You know what I'm saying? My wife gets mad. I was supposed to call a doctor a few days ago, mad, trying to cut a motherfucker off for not calling the doctor to schedule the colonoscopy. You know what I'm saying? So, call today. She stay on me about it. Next is, she's trying to, tell me to get these readers off my face and go get some real ass glasses. You know what I'm saying? So she on me about that. We got a dentist appointment. She takes care of me for real. You know what I'm saying? And in that, I try and do whatever I can to take care of her. And the fact that we're able to, go anywhere we want to and experience life together and see new things together, no matter where it is one of the sweetest things in the world. So, I'm super grateful for that. And I hope that anybody out there listening and, you have that relationship, you cherish that. You know what I'm saying? Because it is very, very rare. You know what I mean? And when you do find it, hold on to it forever. You know what I'm saying? Because, it comes along once in a lifetime. Maybe twice. Motherfuckers get married 3 and 4 times. But sometimes, this is my first marriage. This is her second marriage. But she was married when she was young, like child-wise, 21, shit like that. So this is my first marriage. And so far, so good. And like I said, I know there's going to be ups and downs. But right now, we on an up. So the goal is to maintain that up as long as we can. And you do that by communicating with each other every day, by checking on each other every day, by being concerned with each other's needs what each other's needs are every day. But like being genuinely concerned about it. You know what I'm saying? I think about my wife all day. I think about my kids, my mother, and my wife all day. My father, in my immediate, all day long. I think about them all day. You know what I'm saying? But my wife and my children, they consume the majority of what I think about. You know what I'm saying? They push me forward. They inspire me to get up. They inspire me to, to go and seek, whatever treatment I need to get better so that I can be better for them. So, yeah, I just, I'm grateful, and I'm grateful that for the wintertime, my first wintertime in this RV, I'm grateful that we have it, because it really is not like an apartment. It really is like a house. It's our house, and we love it like a house, and we're gonna do it like a house. We're gonna start the renovations, and we're gonna put up some warmer stuff, because, like I said, she's got a cold streak that runs through her, so we're gonna try to warm it up a little bit, make it a little cozy for her. After all, it's about the same square foot as an actual New York City apartment, so shouldn't be too much of a stretch. And, so I think that is going to do it for me this week. Do I have anything else? No, I really don't think I have anything else. So I think that this is going to do it for this week's episode of the Deron Harris Podcast, episode number 32. And to all my Jewish people out there, man, I love y'all, man. I really do. I really do. And y'all have been persecuted just like we have. And hopefully we could get together in the middle, man. Exchange a song or two, a handshake or two, smoke a blunt or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Maybe we could get together and try to figure out what we could do to squash this whole thing. You know what I'm saying? So, give us some thought, Jewish folks. And, black folks, y'all give us some thought also. You know what I'm saying? Everybody is not our enemy. You know what I'm saying? We got to stop treating everybody like our enemy. Yes, we do have a lot of enemies. We have a lot of enemies. But everybody is not our enemy, especially like individuals that we come across. Certain individuals will ride straight for us, will ride for us. You know what I'm saying? So I shout out to those people. You know what I mean? And I love them for doing that, for putting their own their own beliefs into use, and to be vocal about it, and not to hide and sweep themselves under the rug when things get tough. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to those people also. And okay, I think that's going to do it. I want to thank my wife for being the best wife she can. I want to thank my producer and best friend, Jesse Yandel, for, talking me into doing this shit and keeping my spirits up. And, of course, I want to thank my executive producer, Gentry Thomas. Thank you, brother, man, for giving me this opportunity to have the forum to spread the word that my word or the word or whatever. And, of course, last but not least, thank you for everybody who is listening. Thank you, everybody who has just started listening, everybody who has listening, everyone who has listened and doesn't listen anymore. I still want to tell you that I'm thankful for all of you. And hopefully you'll join me back here next week. I'll be back. We're going to be talking about some more shit. Maybe we keep talking about this. Who knows? And like I said, always, you could DM me, man. It's DERONT, as in Thomas, HARRIS on Facebook. And then it's Deron, DERON, Terae, TERAE, HARRIS on Instagram. Drop me a DM if you want to talk about something. If you got a subject you want me to cover or anything like that, I'm down to talk about anything with anybody. So give me a shout. I'm anxious. I want to hear what y'all got to say about these things. I want to hear how you feel about these things. So one love, y'all, and God bless you all. And remember, man, we all in this bullshit together. You know what I'm saying? So treat each other with some dignity and respect. Peace. It's the Deron Harris Podcast.